All right, thank you for your patience, everyone. We're excited to be able to join with you for our last step in our new nutrition course that we've had here. We're so grateful for you guys being a part of all of this. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's been fun to learn together and talk together and build together.
Insightful and stretching and bonding, just lots of good things.
Yeah. So let's start out before we hop on into things. How did everyone do last week? On one of the goals was to try. Oh wait, no, it was quinoa. Was last week, wasn't it? Yeah, it was to try quinoa in at least 2 meals. Did anyone do quinoa in at least 2 meals? Thumbs up. We did that almost every day.
Meals.
Yeah, most meals. We do a lot of quinoa. Yeah. So, and did anyone get the bitter taste from the quinoa? I hope not. If you did, you didn't wash it well enough. Just FYI. So don't let that scare you off. It just means you didn't rinse it well enough. It should kind of have a ricey flavor. But anyone else have success with goals that they had this week that they wanted to share?
With veggies, fruits, grains.
And if you didn't, that's okay.
Yeah.
There's no.
I was able, I don't want to like show off or anything. This is a very humbling experience to me, actually completing a goal, and the group has been very motivating to me, but I have kept into my eating window for intermittent fasting. I have definitely noticed I sleep better because my body is able to digest the food, like, you know, like, because I stop for sure like 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. I'm able to sleep better. And then yeah, just being sticking to that window and not snacking as much. And if I do snack, I stuck to carrots. Oh my goodness, my kids were sick of the carrots. And like, that's all I had. They'd be like, "Mom, do you have a snack?" I'm like, "I got carrots. I have carrots." These are just simple and I can tolerate them because I have a bunch of nightshade allergies. But anyway, so yeah, I cannot believe I actually completed a goal that I stuck with.
Congratulations. That's awesome,
Thank
Claudia.
you.
Well done.
It matched me, like it you know, like it was like, oh hi friend, like it's like it's been waiting there this whole time. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I think once people find the thing, like for you too, it's quinoa.
Right.
Yeah.
You love quinoa, then you just like it's like a better relationship, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, I think because I'm so type A and I'm methodical and I'm like, I can only between this and this, like that worked for me. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I got a better understanding about intermittent fasting with your class. So thank you.
Way to go,
So
Claudia.
cool.
That's so great. Congratulations.
And that you had one, like you achieved the goal, but two, you had this unexpected benefit of like, oh, I'm sleeping better. And I have this new relationship with carrots that I had no idea it was waiting there for me. So cool.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't tell your husband that you've been seeing carrots more frequently. That that he's being replaced by carrots.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Claudia.
Yeah.
Let's see. Amy and Austin said we tried a coconut lime quinoa. Oh, awesome.
Oh.
Can you guys share that recipe? Oh, is this the recipe right here? The super healthy kids? Oh, awesome.
The first one, the one pot, let's see, the first one pot taco is just like throw quinoa and taco kind of stuff in the Instant Pot. Or no, in a saucepan, and like you make like a casserole out of that with the quinoa. That's really good. My family loved that. It was very filling. I would say that it's a little low on the protein scale. So Austin was like, let's add chicken with this next time, but it was so good. And then, the coconut lime quinoa is the second one that I shared, which is really easy to make. And it just like adds like an extra flavor element to whatever you're putting on top of it in your bowl or something.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of that so we can make sure that we get those.
That along with the art link.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I wanted to make sure we were able to get that too.
Cool.
Awesome. But that's so great. Thank you for sharing the recipes.
Yeah, that link. That's awesome.
Very, very helpful. I'm bland. That is a weakness that I have, and he's our sauce and spicy
guy. Yeah.
So that'll be
The
fun.
saucy one. But we had quinoa tacos this week, which we do on pretty often, where we'll put quinoa as the base, and then we'll do like black beans. We'll do a little bit of chicken, some cheese on the inside of the shell, avocado, and
usually sweet potato
and pecans. Yeah. So that's a kind of a fun idea to do some quinoa tacos. But obviously we throw in some chicken there too, because you do have to have a little protein, like you were talking about, Amy. So
totally.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing those, Amy. And thanks for sharing your successes, guys. Okay, so let's hop on in, guys. Like I said, the notes are going to be more complete than this. And I'm actually going to revert to the notes.
We'll probably go back and forth.
Yeah, in just a little bit here, because I want to make sure that I did some nice work on some of those notes, and I want to show some of the stuff that we worked on. So, okay, so today the goals are, we're going to talk a little bit about exercise. We're not going to go in full bore into exercise, but we're going to talk about the benefits, some little ways that you can help keep yourself on track and know where you're at, and how exercise actually helps you. And then we're going to tie everything together that we've talked about so far. So yeah, I think it'll be a really fun lesson for us. And as always, please feel free to ask questions. We're happy to answer, and hop in with your experience, because we'd love to hear what your guys' experiences are. So first of all, I like to give this analogy about exercise with filling up your car. So if you eat well, that is fantastic. We've been talking about eating well for the past 5 weeks. You definitely need to eat well. But if you don't exercise, then it's like you filled up the gas tank in your car, and then it never got to the engine. It never circulated through the car. And so it never drove. You never actually moved it through the car to actually produce as much as you could. Okay. So that's the same as when we exercise. When we exercise, you can fill your tank or your stomach and your intestines up with a lot of good things. But in order to actually move it throughout the whole body, what you need to do is exercise. When you pump your heart, that'll actually proliferate, move it throughout the body, and you can actually get all those nutrients to the furthest parts of your body, so that it can replenish and keep all those cells healthy. So the importance of exercise has to be, we can't understate that. It is super important. If you are eating healthy, that is awesome. And I would say that's probably 70% of what you need, because your body still will digest. Even if you don't exercise, it still will digest. It still will give it great nutrients. Now, if you want to really put that into a really powerful effect, being able to put it into overdrive, exercising is going to push it out through the body and give you the nutrients throughout the whole system. Okay. So this is a really cool thing. And I'm sorry, I don't have the link in here, but there's been some really cool research that's been shown that when you exercise, you develop new little capillaries. So if you don't know, at the end of your arteries become arterioles, become capillaries. So that's the very smallest little blood vessel, right? And those little capillaries branch out into our organs and our muscles. Well, when you exercise, specifically when you exercise your heart, right? Get it moving more and pumping more, your body will actually build more capillaries. So it's going to actually be able to deliver more blood further, deeper into your tissues and your organs, which is really cool. So just knowing this, again, that shows us, hey, if I want to have the healthiest body every corner of my, of my system, then I'm going to have to exercise so that I can build new capillaries, because that's what happens when you do that. Cool. So when we exercise, it's good to have a mix of cardio and weight or resistance training. So you'll hear people go back and forth. Oh, don't do cardio, only do weight training. Don't do weight training, only do cardio. It's good to have a mix of both. The reason why is cardio is going to make your heart move more. It's going to strengthen your heart. And resistance training is going to retain your lean muscle. Okay. So doing the two is very, very, very important. When we do, and we talked about this in an earlier lesson, but when you, for instance, if you're going to do a calorie restriction diet, right, where you weren't going to eat as much, and you weren't exercising, likely you're actually going to lose muscle before you're going to lose fat. They've done lots of studies to show that. So it's really, really important while we're eating healthy to make sure that we're exercising, because then we retain the muscle, which then will actually burn the fat, which is ideal. That's what we want to have happen in our bodies, right? So what we need to, a baseline where we should try and be at is 30 minutes of light exercise or 15 to 20 minutes of intense exercise for 3 to 5 days a week, okay? So I'm gonna give you a look at what we do for our exercise a little bit later in our class, but that should kind of be in the back of your mind of what you want to be working on. Now, how do you determine what's a light exercise and what's a heavy exercise? You can do a lot of things like take your pulse rate. There's a lot of different ways to try and see if you're in that optimal range. I think a very easy way to tell if you're in intense exercise or light exercise is just quite simply to see if you can talk while you're breathing. So if you're running quickly and you can't talk to someone who's next to you, that's a pretty good indicator that you're having a more intense amount of exercise, okay? That's a quick and easy. We like to make things as quick and easy as possible. And that would be the type of exercise that you want to do if you wanted to go for that 15 minutes for 3 to 5 times a week instead of the 30 minutes for 3 to 5 times a week, okay? So again, mixing it up with cardio and weight or resistance training, super, super important, okay? And you get a coffee maker on this one because this is the old one that has nothing to do, this is the old slide that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Unfortunately. Anyway, so what's supposed to be here is a picture of me adjusting someone, which I had in there until I reverted back.
Adjusting my hand.
I'm adjusting Crystal. So we were talking about how when you exercise, if you put, sorry, we were talking about cars earlier. When you put gas in the tank, but you don't exercise, you're not optimizing the use of that car. Now, when you decide to exercise, you are likely, just like a car, if you drive that car, once in a while, it's going to get out of alignment and it needs some help. You're going to have to help getting it back in alignment, getting the cars, the steering column corrected and things like that. That's the same with our bodies. So it's important to know that, yeah, physical maintenance is a part of making sure that we are a part of our exercise regimen. We need to do some type of physical maintenance, right? Especially when things don't feel quite right. And we have partnered with a lot of you guys. I mean, I think all of you we've partnered with to be able to help keep you guys on track and aligned. And we love being able to do that. But it's just a good thing to remember. That's a part of our experience, is keeping our body in tip-top shape, exercising. When things shift, we get them shifted back so that we can exercise again. Supplementation, also a really important part of revitalizing our system. I know we've talked about MetaPower Advantage, and that is a really great way to be able to rejuvenate your joints, to add different collagens and things like that to be able to help support them when you are exercising. Okay, so I'm going to revert back to this right here, because this is what was supposed to be the next slide. Okay, so after having talked about exercise, now we need to kind of review everything that we've talked about in this class. Okay, so we've talked about, Crystal started our whole kickoff with our emotional balance with our nutrition. What are the emotions that we feel? What are the people that interact with us that sometimes, yep, will affect our emotions? What is our why? Why are we choosing to be healthy? Why are we choosing to go on this new path to make a better us? We talked about water, right? That was, I was inspired by Donnie. I don't know if he's listening, Marcy, but Donnie was, I saw him a couple days after that lesson. He's like, I'm 4 bottles in today, and it was only like 9 a.m. I was like, whoa, you're beating me, I'm 1. But water is so important. We talked about sugar handling, making sure that our sugar levels aren't peaking and aren't going down into valleys, that we're keeping it consistent, but trying to stay on the lower end of our sugar levels, right? Fats and intermittent fasting. That was a fun lesson, and Claudia got to share with us how she's already integrating intermittent fasting. I know a lot of us have tried it, and some of us are doing a really great job, and some of us continue to keep doing a great job that have already been doing it. So, Austin's showing off with his giant jug of water right there. We just reminded him. Also, we talked about proteins, how we can get proteins from lots of different sources, not just meats, but we can get them from lots of beans and grains and even vegetables, right? We talked about fruits, veggies, and nuts, and the importance, how they help us get our vitamins and our minerals that are so important to all the processes that happen inside our bodies. And then exercise, we touched on tonight with our physical maintenance, how we maintain our bodies, how we keep them going, right? And how we optimize our bodies after we've added all this great stuff in them. How do we make sure that stuff gets to the rest of our body? Okay, so what we're going to do is I've broken down all of these different subjects into a daily regimen to show you how I and Crystal live this, and you can see how we implement and live these principles. Because sometimes we talked about all these principles, but we're like, okay, I don't quite understand how that's all going to fit into one day. So we created the perfect day. Obviously, this isn't going to be what every day looks like, but we tried to cram all of these. It's not a 24-hour period. It's more like a 72-hour, really long day, because all these events probably couldn't happen all in one day. But here we go. So what you'll notice is, I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this thing. I think I can. Yeah, perfect. Cool. Yeah, that worked out nicely. Perfect. Okay. So what you'll notice is it's going to have zoom out just a little bit there. There we go.
Can you guys read that stuff?
Oh no. Oh. Sorry.
Never mind.
Oh no.
Oh, you have it.
Oh wait, I have it downloaded. Give me just a sec, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure I can. Is that it? No, that's not it.
Cut that.
Yeah, right.
I think that should be it. You scroll on down.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Zoom here. Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry guys. There we go. Okay, so what we've done is we've broken it down we've color coded it so you can see how we integrate all of these principles that we talked about throughout the day. Okay, I'll zoom one more. Yeah, that will work. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So you'll see 8 o'clock, I have highlighted in purple. That's because intermittent fasting, I don't start eating until 8 and sometimes later. 8:30, 9. But I don't ever start eating before 8 a.m. Okay. We're getting our protein and we're getting our fats in that first, the eggs and the cheese. And then we're also getting our fruits and nuts, and also toast. I highlighted because it's a grain. Fruits, veggies, and oops, I meant to put grains on that. Anyway, sorry. But yes, grains. And then also we got our fats and we have our water. Okay. Also with breakfast, this is where I told you guys, I always try and, well, every day I do a multivitamin or a set of multivitamins actually, to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And so we use the doTERRA's LLV, that's lifelong vitality. I make sure that I front load. I get all my vitamins in the morning and I take all those. And then I told you guys that I slimmed down 2.5 inches in about, it was like 3 weeks. I did that using this MetaPower oil. It was really quite significant. I was really surprised how much I slimmed down so quickly. So I use that every morning also. And I use that with half a glass of water. So look, Donnie is like four bottles in by this time, and I'm one bottle in by this time. So not as impressive. And I will tell you, Crystal and I were talking about this as I was going through this. I tried to stick to like what a real day would look like for me. This is actually, I modeled this after one of the days I ate this week. Now, you'll notice that my water intake is not high enough. Everyone struggles with something. I will tell you, I am not good at the water thing. I really struggle with it. And Crystal's like, maybe you should set that alarm, because that was such a great, I don't remember who suggested that.
Amy.
Look,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Donnie.
Was that Donnie too?
All right.
Set the alarm. I'm gonna have to set an alarm or carry around a 3-gallon bucket
Austin.
Like Austin. Just 1 gallon. Okay. All right. So that's what breakfast looks like, right? Then if you look at lunch or early afternoon. So again, I'm not eating in between breakfast and lunch. Okay. So that's where I highlighted with my sugar handling. I'm making sure my sugar is not peaking. It's not spiking because I'm not eating sugar throughout that time. You'll see quinoa, which is, you'll see is a common theme in our life again. Quinoa, so I'm getting a lot of grains in there, and then also proteins. And then you can kind of look through that list. And, have you ever seen those word charts where it's the word association charts, or not word association, where it has the clouds, word clouds, where it has like the bigger areas? So this, you can kind of see in this range, my lunchtime is very protein, vegetable heavy, right? Because you can see the grays and the greens, and then a little bit of sugar because I do the almond crackers, right? And then there's my second glass of water. Ooh, I'm only 2 in. And then I also use, with my biggest carb meal, because you'll see I do have carbs in here. I will do this, what's called MetaPower Assist, and I know we talked about that too. But that is helping to keep my blood sugar level low, to create a slower digestion of my carbohydrates. Okay, so it converts simple and even complex carbohydrates into even slower carbohydrates digestion. So
you're not having the peaks.
So I don't have peaks and valleys. Yep. So I try and do that with my largest meal. Okay. Oh no. I did it again. Darn you. Sorry guys, I was trying to get over here. All right. Then we are going to actually, so this actually happened today. Finley's birthday is tomorrow, and he will be 4, and we had to go get a pineapple for his pineapple cake. If you need a great recipe for a non-sugar pineapple cake, by the way, we will send that to you. If you want that, hit a little, link in the, like a little chat, comment in the chat, and we'll send it to you. Yeah, we'll email it to you because it is awesome. It is awesome. So anyway, we went to go get this pineapple, and I have to prep myself before I go into Publix. So this is the emotional balance part. I love apple fritter donuts or bear claw donuts. When I pass,
some amens.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I pass Publix bakery, I get a whiff of those, and I'm just like, I'm done. I can't. It's so hard. So actually, I know going into Publix that I'm going to have to go quickly by the bakery section, and then I'm just gonna not go over there because I know that at this point I'm not gonna do it. But it is hard. Like I will just start salivating, right? So I really do have to remember my why. I'm like, okay, my why is I want to be able to concentrate when I'm working with my patients this afternoon. I want to be able to give my undivided attention and to be able to help them the best I can. Okay. So sticking to my why, like Crystal talked about, our first lesson, everyone has to do it. I have to do it when I go into Publix and walk by the bakery. Everyone's got to do it. Just making sure you're aware of where your triggers are, where your hunger pangs are, so that you can work around those is super important. This happened to me a little while ago when I went into the grocery store. I went to go get some nuts, a nut and dried berry mix. And I was like, okay, these look great. They were organic. I flip over the label just because I'm like, oh, I'm curious. And I look, the first ingredient is sugar cane. And I was like, what the crap? Why is sugar cane the first ingredient on this before nuts? And it's like, I think it's actually right after that. Sorry, it was after nuts, but it was before the fruit. And I was like, oh, they sweetened all the cranberries in this thing. And so you got to be careful whenever you are going to the store, grocery store, and you're buying something out of a box, flip it over, look in the added sugar section, and make sure you're not getting stuff with a bunch of added sugars, because your sugar handling will thank you later for not having that. Okay. So the next thing that we deal with in the day, 3 o'clock, who doesn't hit some type of lull at 3 o'clock? Raise your hand. Okay, we all. Austin. Okay, all right.
He was just talking about this.
Thing.
Go ahead.
No, you
He was
tell
just
her.
talking about this.
Yeah.
No, it's your story.
That's one of the things I've noticed since doing all of this, is that I'm not hitting that 3 p.m. wall anymore.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when I stopped eating sugar 15 years ago. I don't hit like I've got to take a nap right now. I don't get I'm spacing out, but I will hit a little bit of a slowdown. It's just kind of inevitable, right? We'll hit a little bit of a slowdown. Maybe we won't hit a wall, but what I like to do so I can stay sharp is I use the MetaPower Advantage to help bump my energy back up. And then also, like we talked about earlier, that's helping with collagen and things like that. But it also has NMN in it, which is it's not even a stimulant, it's a precursor to your energy, your ATP. So that's what I like to use. If you guys remember the Krebs cycle that we talked about last week, NMN and NADH or NAD plus are things that spin off the Krebs cycle when we use our B vitamins, right? So basically, MetaPower Advantage is packed with those types of things, with the NAD plus and the NMN, so that you're kind of getting a shortcut to your energy. So anyway, that's something that I like to use. And then I get a bottle of water in. Hooray! Yes, I know. It's 3 p.m. I'm at 3 by now. Okay, so leaving the office, I'm always starving, and I can get a little bit hungry and a little bit grumpy, and sometimes I don't get full on hangry, but I can get a little. She gets hangry, but I get a little bit grumpy. So I like to use MetaPower, the oil again, because that actually can help stave off hunger pangs, and so I like to use that to help with that. But you'll notice I have it highlighted in purple, my 5 p.m. I'm still not eating because I'm trying to maximize my intermittent fasting. Okay, so that's why I have that 5 p.m. highlighted. I'm going to try and not go back to the. Okay, perfect, good. All right, there we go for dinner. So I waited till my 6:30, but I'm obviously not eating too late, right? I'm not eating past 7. Now the next page you're going to see it. We're going to make a little exception. We're going to show you something there. But we had, this was something, this is what we had, tacos, right? So we talked about this, 1.5 slices of cheese in 3 different tacos, quinoa, chicken breast. You can see all the veggies we ate there, all the proteins we were getting and the fats we were getting. And then, yeah, all the salads, the veggies that we're getting in the salad. So.
And the apple slices and nut butter, that's more at the end. It's like his dessert.
That's my dessert. Yep. And I don't wait, because a lot of people, we talked about, when they want to eat dessert, they'll wait until, I'm going to finish dinner and then I'm going to get on the couch and I'm going to watch a show and then I'm going to eat ice cream. So they'll eat a half an hour later or something like that. Let's try not eat ice cream anyway. If you are, eat the banana one that we suggested. But try and eat it closer to your meals rather than, spaced out from your meal. Okay. And then we have our exercise. So we tend to exercise after dinner. About 7 o'clock is usually when we end up getting to the gym. And you'll see that this is going to help with our sugar handling. And also, you're going to help with your physical shape, obviously, right? With your physical maintenance, right? So what I do for my exercise, this is an example of my 30 minutes. I do 10 minutes of rowing, 10 minutes of biking, and then 10 minutes of some type of resistance training. So we have weight machines at our gym. You can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups. I do core exercises a lot to make sure that we use bands. Yep. But you want to do some type of resistance training. And so we do something close to this 10, 10, and 10, right? So we mix it up with our cardio and our weight training. Okay. And then we're going to create this scenario, because this didn't happen to us this week. But we had some friends that invited us over for a little dessert party a little while ago. So if it was too late, then we wouldn't want to do this at all, right? So
we could still show up, but we'd still want to do the intermittent fasting.
Correct. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're not gonna no, screw you. We're not gonna participate in your stupid dessert night. No, obviously we want to go. We want to enjoy with them. But we oftentimes, in fact, when we did get invited to one a little while ago, we just brought our own dessert because we're like, there isn't going to be anything that doesn't have refined sugar in it, right? And so we actually made a monk fruit. If any of you are familiar with that, it's a nice substitute. It's doesn't have any calories and it's not a sugar. So but it's very, very nice for sweetening things. I will warn you, it can give you some indigestion. So don't blame me if you try monk fruit and it doesn't feel great on your stomach, because it can cause some constipation. But we bring our own desserts if anyone ever invites us to this, like a party like this. Then going into it, having to know your why. I can't stress that enough. You're with your friends, you're with people you love. You remember my story about grandma and not even on my birthday? You're going to be at their birthday party and they're going to say, but this is my favorite cake. And you're going to have to say, I love you. I'm so glad that you shared your favorite cake and you want your favorite cake to be shared with me, but I can't have that right now because and this is my why. Whatever your why is, you got to stick to it. And it looks like Amy and Austin have got a question.
We just wondered what, like monk fruit, as a type of sweetener you used in what dessert? Like what was the dessert you?
It was a pecan pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Actually, I was like, I like both. Why not have it be in one? So, yeah, we made it in one. And then today for Finley's birthday, because his class, they had like you can go as a parent and bring a treat for him and his little friends. And I brought it was an orange sickle cookie, and that it only had 2 tablespoons for it was like 15 people. So 2
It's like 30
tablespoons of maple
cookies.
syrup,
Yeah.
but the rest was all coming from orange. So it was from like orange juice, as well as orange rind, like the zest, and then some orange essential oil, and then vanilla, cinnamon. It just had a really nice full flavor. And the base was almond flour and tapioca flour. So I'll send that to you guys as well. I'll just send you guys our dessert recipes. So yeah, but those were some of the ones we've done recently.
I missed the chat here. It was that. Oh, Amy and Austin. I skipped your DIY trail mix. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like in the bottom of our pantry where the kids can reach, we put a whole bunch of like this big cereal containers, but we put like dried mangoes in there or individual nuts like the walnuts or whatever. They all have their favorite nut. I wish they could all like the same one, but they don't. So then like if they need a snack or something, that's what it's on their level and that's what they go grab. They grab their favorite cashews or whatever, but you can grab all those and put it out and make your own trail mix. I don't think making your own trail mix, I mean, I know it's faster to like buy a bag, but you were just saying like added sugar, and that's what I find everywhere is like tons of added sugar. So that's what we do to keep the nuts fresh and make our own trail mix.
That's awesome. I love that idea. I love that idea. That's so fun that that's so smart that you put it at their level so they know, oh, that's where I go to. That's my snack. That's my snack bin. Yeah. That's great. I love that idea. Thanks for really helping us have some great ideas about.
Yeah. And if any of you like have an idea that pops to mind, like we'd love to hear that or have the recipe and stuff. So it's great.
So that is kind of how our days look. If Crystal was sharing, because this was more how my day looks, but Crystal's would be replete with water. There would be like a river running through these slides. Crystal drinks so much water. It's amazing. She's really, really good at that.
It's like breathing for me, literally. Like I can't do it. I can't do a day without. So what we're gonna do here is we're actually let's go back to this and we'll go into kind of our.
No, don't go.
All right, you got it.
Slowly.
So we all have our different areas, like where Joel's saying, where we have our strengths and our areas that can be more challenging, right? As he's saying, yeah, water, it's just breathing. I'm always drinking. So that wasn't ever really a stretch. But the snacking, the intermittent fasting, the hanger, that really is a thing that I deal with. It really is a thing. And so I've reduced the amount of snacking, and I've been very proud of that, and I have felt better. But at the same time, I still do snack midday, and then on our drive home at like 5 p.m. when he was saying like I get hungry, I'm like I'm eating, and Finley's eating. So I thought we could have kind of just a discussion here on what are areas that are really easier for you that have either been that way or have become that way now as we've been a little bit more like honed in, and that you found, like, for example, Claudia, what you were saying today, like, oh, carrots, that was super easy. And then maybe what are the areas that are more of like our challenges? We'd love to. Let's start with the wins though. For sure. Yeah. What do you guys feel like you've succeeded in this process? Yeah. Again, or it might have been for a while. Yeah, sure. Did I see a hand? Sorry. Okay. All right.
We'll talk. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to say wait?
So water's been an easy one for me. I bought that water bottle. It's got times down the side. And so all day I know kind of, oh, I'm ahead or I'm behind, and that's actually been a help, I think, with the snacking and the sugars too, because it's a distraction. Like when I start to feel hungry or I want something, I look at my water bottle where I'm like, oh, I'm a half hour behind. Let me just drink some water, and that usually satiates it. But
Where did you get that thing?
Amazon, it was like, I don't know, $15.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting
a Valentine's gift.
a Valentine's gift.
Yeah. So I mean, it takes some work.
Something
The first 4 days or so, just have a bathroom handy.
Okay. Yeah.
That's an adjustment, but and then sugar was a bit of a challenge and a win, especially early on, because that's when I had a lot of the cravings and things. And there was one day where I justified a donut because I had blueberries in it. but that was a learning experience because I'd been off of it long enough to notice almost immediately that it really didn't taste as good as I thought it would, didn't feel as good as I thought it would, and that actually made it easier throughout, because now I find myself like, is that really going to be worth it? Like, is that what I really want to cheat with? Like, there's got to be something better. I'll save it for then.
Yeah.
And he was traveling, so not that that justifies it, but I think when you're just starting something new and you're in a routine, then you get in that routine, it makes it easier. You don't surround yourself with that stuff. But when you're with coworkers, traveling, not at home, you can't make your own food, don't know the city, don't know where to stop in or get whatever, then that makes it a lot more challenging, right? And so
I feel like I did pretty good. That was the only cheat that trip, so.
I don't think the blueberry in that counted. I think for me, I think what's been helpful for me, like tonight, was it tonight? Today at lunch, we had like some chicken and the kids had like chicken and carrots and blueberries. But Austin and I had like quinoa and greens, and I didn't want to like push everything on them, and so when I was making. Hey, I'm trying to share here. Thanks. When I was making our plates, I just said, who wants some quinoa? Has great, like, lots of B vitamins in it, or just having the knowledge behind that, it's easier to like educate and invite my kids. And then some of my kids were like, oh, I'll take some, but just a little bit, but it's more than they would have had, and I didn't have to force them. I just invited them, and it was more than they would have had. You know what I mean?
That's
so
awesome.
I mean, there are plenty of times where I make the meal and I'm like, this is the meal, so you need to eat it, But just having the knowledge behind all of that. And then
that's been super helpful too.
I think also like the protein, like just knowing how we could sneak more protein in. I guess I didn't realize, like, my kids are almost always like craving nuts. And I guess I didn't realize like how low I was feeding my family protein in amounts. And the difference of how much protein like Austin needs versus the little kids, or even versus meat. So that was really helpful. So
Good.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
for
really
sharing.
like how just being more educated, and you're like, I'm gonna pass this education on, and now it's an invitation, and that they took it. That's really like inspiring to know. Yeah, kids will take it when they're educated. At least maybe there's a possibility. higher possibility.
Lead the horse to water.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Any other wins or things that like either you've had an easy time with in the past, or that you've seen yourself surprised that it's been easier adapting? And did you have anything in particular?
For me?
Yeah, that's like
that was easier.
Uh-huh.
You know what? The water has been one that I've been focusing on way more. And that I found that I realized how it's funny when you present things, you're like, okay, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I better do more, right? But the funny thing is, like, I still found it difficult even when, and that's why I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not gonna like these other things. These are all things that I really do like throughout the day, but water, I do not do well on at all. And so that's something that I'm like, ooh, that's something I really want to do better. I want to really hone in on that a little bit more, right? Focus on
That's good.
Yeah.
And before that, I think we both had been like just struggling with the exercise routine. Like after we had Finley, and even when we were in school, like we had kind of a routine before we got to chiropractic school, but after that it seemed like we just lost a routine. So it's been for years, but we moved into a new area and we have a gym right by us, and we've created a routine there. So anything there like for you guys that you're noticing, like, okay, this is kind of more the thing that stretches me, or it's a little bit more of a challenge? Do you have anything in particular there?
I think Donnie's been winning at water, and I'm doing much better, but I'm also challenged with drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Drinking more than before, but not enough every single day.
That's great though, that you're noticing like that. It's again, it's kind of like Amy was sharing with us that she shared it with her kids. They're more educated, and so they tried more than they would have had originally. And same thing here, like, okay, I'm having more. Maybe it's not the number that is like suggested, but more is great.
But he's really right for having the reminders on the phone, because for me, I have it set to pop up every 2 hours and it just says drink water, and it's really annoying on the days that I'm struggling to drink water.
That's so funny.
Well, then you might also be getting a Valentine's jug too, I guess.
Well, good. It's just good to have this type of discussion on like where, we all have areas that we feel like it's a stretch, it's uncomfortable. We have maybe our habits or lack of habits, and it's just like, a little bit harder, and that's fine. We're human. Were you going to say something, Amy or Austin? I saw that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like that you're bringing it to that, because I think, like I was like talking to us, I have not been so great at the sugar thing. I haven't been great at that for a while. And I've done so much better, but I could be better. And I know like this is, most of this information is not very new to me. But I just having the support socially, I realized that's actually probably why I fell off the rocker in the first place. Part of the reason, just because like we live in a society that doesn't live this way. So to have, the support has been valuable. Now I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but just to be like gentle, like with myself, because like as I was talking about it, I'm like, they said it would be really hard to go off sugar for the first 3 weeks. And next week you're still off of sugar and still going through the hard time, but you're also going to do this, and you're also going to, and I that being said, I don't think any of the challenges were very difficult to accomplish. I think they were all great, simple things to focus to get you going. But all of this will take more time than just 6 weeks. It's going to keep taking time to work out all of those kinks and habits, and like find a new rhythm and a new, like, make that why part of who you are, instead of just something you always have to remind yourself about. So like even intermittent fasting, that the chart that you gave us was like several, like for the first, what was the first month, right? Then you can cheat on the weekends. I cannot cheat on the weekends because it's so hard. It's so much harder for me to get back on the train if I cheat on the weekends. So for me, I found I can't. But anyway, that's the first month, right? We didn't even do a month, and then we were on to the next thing. So you're just juggling a lot of new things. And so just to be, I think there are wins. Sometimes it can seem overwhelming, like, I didn't quite make that challenge, or I didn't. So I liked Marcy's like win, and still I'm going to do better. Yes.
It is so encouraging. That was one of our hopes here, is that we want to have a discussion. We want to have this where it's like, okay, it's not just an educational experience, because that's not always transformational. But when we feel like, okay, we're all in this together, there's a momentum that we gain together, saying, okay, this person's got this is a little bit easier, this person's got this, or it's challenging, hey, that's me too. Or like, oh, let's share some recipes. So anyway, I'm so glad that it has felt like a support and a community, and like steps along the way. So great, guys. All right. So in terms of having this as our discussion of knowing, okay, where are my victories? What have I maybe like fully mastered or just really felt good in and started to have more confidence in? And then the areas where I might feel a little bit more stretched. This can help us to know maybe where we want to focus in on. It can help us to think, all right, I can either go in one direction or the other. I can maybe just continue on the areas that I can really feel more confident in, and continue to feel like, all right, I'm going to master one of these things that are a little bit more within reach at a time. Or we can go for that thing that's like, if it's the water thing or the snack thing, and say like, all right, that's really going to be my main focus right now. However you want to go about it, there's no like right or wrong way. It's going back to what we started with. It's, we're going to sense for ourselves what is best suited and give ourselves some grace. And then, you know, if we're, let's say it's the water thing and we're like making some momentum and we're still not necessarily there, it's like, okay, I'm going to just celebrate that. And I'm just going to try to maintain that new level. And then since I'm really not making as much of a significant change, why don't I go ahead and start working more on the snack thing, and doing less of that? Like, so then we can, again, build more confidence along the way and not feel like, oh, I have to only do one thing at a time. It's like, all right, if I'm making momentum, great. But if I'm feeling stuck, let me just try something else. So again, just lots of grace, lots of freedom with this. So that's the idea, and that's really our invitation for each of us to take on, to consider, all right, let's sense what is it that I want to focus on and go for it. Try it out for, you know, at least a week. And then if it kind of like using this model that we've done in this new nutrition, like we're making that improvement within that week, great. Do I want to stay with that one thing right now? Okay. Or if I want to swap out and do like the protein part, we can add that. So make it your own. All right, so our last part here is actually, we're gonna go back to the slides.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Okay, well,
this is the old version, but
that's
yes,
okay. This is
it'll
gonna
still
help.
be good.
So within the next few months, we're gonna just be sending out like emails and things. We'll have either like a newsletter, or it might be like a mini class, as it says here, where it will just be like one meeting as opposed to like the 6-week series. Or we'll have like a YouTube video, and it will cover different topics that will be similar to what we've been doing here, with like the nutrition side, but we wanted to kind of have this thought of like diving deeper into deeper connections, as well as having this hope of like thriving to get to age 100. So things that might be within those classes and those newsletters are going to be like at-home lab tests that you can take, so that you can know how you're doing metabolically.
Yeah.
How things are looking, and you don't necessarily have to go to anyone to get it. You can just order it online. We're
really passionate about people taking charge of their own health. So we want to share with you, okay, if you want to take your own labs, take your own labs. You can have a good idea about how you're doing based on what your labs look like, and you can order your own labs. And we have companies that we're aware of that you contact them directly and they send you labs that you can take. So pretty cool. So those are the types of things that we want to share with you.
And some of those other topics might be something like sleep, or healthier connections, either like within ourselves, or, I mean, that's a lot of our whys. If I recall, as we were talking through some of our whys at the very beginning, it was mostly our relationships. And if it wasn't our external relationship, it was our relationship within ourselves. So diving into that a little bit more within our topics to come. We are going to be doing semi-annually. So this new Nutrition, this was our first one, and we have loved getting to connect with you guys. This has been such an amazing group. But we're going to be doing this once, like every 6 months, so that if we're starting the year off strong, great. Now it's been half a year and we might have had some summer vacation, like we're out of our routine. Let's kind of recenter, regroup together again in June. So,
and it's not going to be exactly the same.
No,
We will
yeah.
add things, so it's not going to be. It could be a refresher, but it also can be additional knowledge that can help you in your nutritional walk. So,
yeah.
what questions do you guys have, if any? That also, can I add, if there are subjects or things that you guys want to talk about or have questions about, we are happy to have you reach out to us and say, hey, I want to know what, like, there's so many different things on YouTube or so many different things on the internet about this. Can you help clarify this? We would love to be able to help out on that and do like a mini class on that. So if there are things that come up where you're like, ooh, I'd love to know about that, we would love to be a resource to be able to do that for you also. So do you guys have any questions or things that are coming to your mind that that we haven't covered tonight? And if not,
Really quick, just kind of going back to the why, something that helped me, because that I need that, was something called non-negotiables. And I read it from like a fitness influencer, and she said that, because someone's like, how do you wake up at 5 a.m. and commit to exercising? And she said, it's my non-negotiable. And I'm sure everybody, in their life has a non-negotiable. Maybe you abstain from alcohol, where you're just like, nope, that's not negotiable, meaning nobody will try to convince me to drink alcohol. Or it could be, I drink my water every day, or whatever. Everybody has their non-negotiable. And so for her, she decided to make exercising at 5 a.m. her non-negotiable. So no matter what, like, that's just not something that someone's going to talk her way out of it, including herself. It's just something that is going to be like second nature. And so I really kind of stuck that as like a little bit in the same vein of the why. And so even just the other day, I was like, oh no, I could do so many other things instead of going to the gym at this time. And then I remembered, like, no, this has to be my non-negotiable. Like I because I do really want it to be a priority, but human nature, like, I can come up with a million excuses of not to. Anyways, that's it. That's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
oh,
Yes.
awesome.
Awesome. What a great, like, insightful way of making this connection of our why in, like, I'm going to be so firm that it's just this constant. It's a non-negotiable. I love that. Thank
That's
you,
awesome,
Claudia. Thank you so much. Beautiful, guys. Well, feel free to reach out with any of those topics or questions. I'll be sending out those recipes for the desserts here within the next couple days. Probably not tomorrow. I'm going to be in like party mode for for our son. But so good to see each of you. Have a wonderful night. Best of luck with continuing on with your New You nutrition.
And we're here for you.
Yes,
don't forget,
sure,
we want to be a community. Amy, I think you hit the nail on the head. We work well together. We work well helping each other, supporting each other. So hopefully we can continue this, that as we have these mini courses that we can hop on, help each other, encourage each other, and be able to help uplift each other as we continue on our nutrition courses wherever we are heading. So good working with you guys. We're so happy that you joined us for our course, and we will be seeing all of you very, very soon.
Yes. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Take care.
You.